Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So yesterday was Ramadan and the Prime Minister had a few words of recognition for the Muslim people that are celebrating the religion. And obviously that has got the Christians mad because they consider this country to be a Christian country and the Prime Minister should not have any words of recognition for people of other religions. And obviously that has gotten all over the media and GB News as you would expect defending Christianity and saying the Prime Minister should not have any level of recognition or encouragement for any other religions. And we're here to see what they have to say again about Muslims again. But if you enjoyed the video, drop a like and subscribe if you want to see more. Let's get right into it.
Thoughts of my panel this evening. We've got Daily Express columnist Carol Malone. We have got former chairman of the Tory party, Sir Jake Berry, and the ex-Labour Party advisor, Matthew Larzer. Carol, look, I'll just emphasise again for the hard of hearing that, I'm not particularly bothered by the fact that everyone seems to be wishing people a happy Eid and a happy Ramadan.
Yes, you are. Yes, you absolutely are. You absolutely are. If you ask me why they're even wishing them happy Ramadan and all this stuff, because typically, like marginalized groups, right, people of other religions in this country, or people that are black, or any other specific form of identity, right? If you could consider religion as a form of identity, they typically are marginalized, and the way they portrayed in the media is typically bad. So, as a goodwill gesture, the Prime Minister decided, hey, listen, just so that you don't feel left out, we will acknowledge the fact that you were celebrating a special day, and that's a goodwill gesture. But obviously, they are mad at it, and I'm not surprised, let's be honest. I don't think anyone that knew GB News, they shouldn't be surprised.
I do wonder is why then are we called a racist country and why do we not talk about Christmas in case it offends non-Christians?
Like you, I'm very happy for all religions to celebrate their sacred days. I think it's a good thing. And I'm not upset. A lot of people are across at Prince Charles and saying what he did in holding this iftar ceremony in Windsor Castle, first time a monarch's ever done it. They're saying this is evidence of the Islamification of Britain. I don't believe that at all. Charles has always been supporters of many faiths in this country for decades, and I think it's good that he continues that. However, I get really hacked off that Christians aren't allowed to celebrate their sacred days and their sacred celebrations in the way this very much.
I don't think anyone is saying Christians cannot celebrate the sacred days. What is she talking about? Well, literally just had Christmas, right? We just had Easter. No one is coming out saying we shouldn't celebrate anything. But obviously she's going to point to the fact that one school, by the way, one school decided not to celebrate Easter. Just one school. And therefore, oh no, the whole Britain is not celebrating Christianity anymore. We just celebrate other religions. No, that's not what happened. Absolutely. It's just one school that decided we don't want to celebrate this so people can feel more inclusive. That's it. But she's going to reference that as that's some sort of way where the whole country decided not to celebrate.
Minority religion appears to be. I'm very happy that they've done what they've done. It's great. But it really hacks me off that school you mentioned, the cancelled.
One school, by the way. One school.
Easter, so as not to offend. That same school in Eastleigh, that also celebrated Eid, it celebrated Diwali, but yet it cancelled Easter.
They've got a Refugees Welcome Week, I think, as well.
Well, of course they have.
That's the whole point. Celebrating inclusive people that are that's the whole point. Like people that feel underrepresented, right? They celebrate that day to feel them more, to make them more inclusive into like the country. That's the whole point. It isn't like a malicious move or anything. But again, it's only one school. Like big deal. It's not like the whole Prime Minister decided no, we cannot celebrate. Then that will be too much. That will be unacceptable. If the whole country is not allowed to celebrate Easter, that will be bad. But if it's just one school, I think schools have the autonomy to be able to decide whether or not,
Nothing to do with Christianity at all. But, Christianity is still the biggest religion in this country.
Yes,
and yet we are constantly apologising for it, constantly hiding its sacred days, its celebrations, so as not to offend people. Why would Christianity...
One school, that's it.
Offensively. And do you know what I think this thing, we've seen over the weekend the BBC they've broadcast a ceremony from a mosque and whatever. I wonder how the leaders of other faiths would feel about sharing their days with the Christian faith, because I'm not sure that they all want inclusivity the way we're told it all has to be.
Jake, I'll get your views on this. I mean, again, for me, I saw that tidal wave that we've had of Happy Ramadan and Happy Eid from a variety of different massive...
We've also had Christmas as well, where like everyone celebrated it. This is not a big deal. This is just a goodwill gesture. That's it. It isn't like, oh my God, that's it now. We have to dedicate this day. The whole country has to set like. It isn't. It's just a goodwill gesture. That's it.
Institutions and big figures and big corporations in Britain. And I thought, how on earth can people seriously suggest that we're a racist, Islamophobic country when Windsor Castle's been open for an iftar, Parliament has been open for an iftar, the King's wishing everyone a happy Eid and a happy Ramadan? I mean, should we just park this idea that we are Islamophobic?
Well, I mean, it's complete and utter nonsense. And I think, you know, there's a sliding scale here. So first of all...
I don't think this is a Islamophobic country. Like, no. Just because there are people that are going to do that doesn't mean the country in general. That's just a wild take.
Well, the king has done absolutely the right thing. He is not just our king, he's king of 13 other nations, which all have most of them have a Muslim population, but also he's the head of the Commonwealth. And we often forget that the Commonwealth has
He's also
more Muslims living in
England, he didn't say much about Lent.
Well, let me come on to that. But he's the head of the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth has more Muslims living in it than the whole of Arabia. It has Pakistan, Bangladesh, Gambia, Malaysia, all of these majority Muslim countries. So he's fulfilling one of his roles of our head of state by wishing Eid Mubarak. He is also, Carol says we're a Christian country. We are. We're officially a Christian country. He is the head of our established church.
Do you think he's strong enough about that?
No, I think he is really strong. I don't see the... I think the
He's actually made a really good point. Made a very, very good point. Because of like the Commonwealth, the whole Commonwealth that spreads everywhere. It's a goodwill gesture of a recognition. Like, hey, we know and we think and we believe this thing that you believe in. We think it's fair. And it's a goodwill gesture to be able to, recognize. It's a form of recognition. I think it's a goodwill gesture. He's making a very good point.
Is really strong. And let's not forget also in Britain, we have a bank holiday for Good Friday, we have a bank holiday for Easter Monday. We do have real celebration of our Christian faith.
And Christmas as well. Who can forget that?
I think the King's done something absolutely right. On the other end of the scale, you have the BBC, which, in my view, is excessively virtue signalling by saying, oh, well, we must sort of wrap ourselves in Eid because it makes us a more tolerant organisation. That's not true.
Clearly.
Actually, people of all faiths, whether they're Christian, Muslim, Sikh, Hindu, Jewish, like living in a country where all faith is respected. And the BBC doesn't really understand that by focusing so heavily down on one faith.
Yeah, so there was a live broadcast of an Eid ceremony at a mosque in Bradford, I believe it was, for the first time ever on the BBC. We've had a lot of firsts this year, Matthew, when it comes to it. So it's the first time Windsor Castle was opened up for an iftar. It's the first time we've had an iftar like that in the House of Commons, so I'm led to believe. It's the first time the BBC has done that particular Eid ceremony live broadcast. What's going on there, do you think?
So, I mean, look, I think the problem with this is you get a little bit like Oscars acceptance speeches when people, read out all their thank yous. And why do they have to give out such a long list? They go on forever and make it incredibly boring because they don't want to miss anybody out. And so the problem is you have a little bit of this. When I worked at the Labour, you had to have a massive wall chart, so you can't forget anybody's. You have to do a video message for everybody.
But everybody didn't do a Mother's Day post on Twitter.
Yeah, and that's the problem is, I think the problem is that's exactly it. Oh my God, we've forgotten this. Somebody didn't put the Mother's Day thing on. I think what you should do is, obviously this is a predominantly Christian country, you should recognise the major Christian festivals are the sort of major festivals of the nation, and they're what our school terms
you
are.
You would accept, wouldn't you, Matthew, that they're being subjugated now. They're being hidden, and the aspects of those celebrations are being hidden so as not to offend other faiths. And I don't think...
Absolutely not. Absolutely. No way.
It's the people from the other faiths that are...
No, it's not. No, absolutely.
I think it's people in power and positions of power who are acting on their...
They're desperate.
And
So,
getting it wrong.
look at Scott.
That doesn't even make any sense to be able to, why would you try and hide what most people believe in? If it's truly true that you're trying to hide Christianity from, other people that believe in other religions, it makes no sense because most people are still Christians. So it's almost like working against the majority of people. That makes no sense at all. That's like a small minority of people. Why would you try and please small minority of people and try and subjugate like majority of people? It doesn't make sense. It will backfire because most of the people are gonna be against that.
Scotland, just can I
Getting it
so,
wrong.
yeah, so we just looked up the figures in Scotland, and
this is
and Scotland has about a 1% Muslim population. It has about a 0.8% Chinese population. I was trying to make sure, has the First Minister missed off the lunar, what we used to call the Chinese New Year? Some of it happened some years, it hasn't happened other years, and that's the problem. Is if you start doing one, you've got to do everybody.
It's not a case of missing off. This has been blanket coverage this year, and it'll be very interesting to see if the BBC covers Easter in the same way it has covered Ramadan.
Watch this.
Yeah, I mean, I expect they might do. I mean, to BBC, loathed as I am to ever go into bat for them, I mean, I think there is a case to say that there was a huge amount of virtue signalling that took place today over Eid. They will say and point to the fact they do shows like Songs of Praise, for example, and they will point to the fact that maybe they will be doing some like live Easter.
Well, they actually recorded the Easter Songs of Praise around the corner at the Catholic
I'm
Cathedral.
sure they will be.
From my
I mean,
house.
theologically, in the Christian faith, I say this as a Christian myself, Easter is our most important festival.
Yes.
But in reality, in Great Britain, it's Christmas.
Absolutely. So true. It is Christmas. And Christmas is wildly accepted, celebrated, like everywhere in Britain. Absolutely. It is Christmas.
Because everyone celebrates
Well,
Christmas.
yeah.
Even people who have a very vague relationship with Christianity will celebrate
They still-
Christmas. And I don't think anyone could look at the coverage around Christmas with 9 lessons and carols. You know, all of the
I'm sorry,
all
I
of the
beg to differ. I
hype
think
we
it was
see
only
around
GB
Christmas.
News that really did Christmas well last year. We had the messages on from the vicars all around the country. We're the ones who really did that. For a lot of people, and even commercially, when you go shopping, again on Oxford Street, which has literally got, you know, bang, happy Ramadan. Now, you'll have Christmas lights, fine, but a lot of the big stores there very often have things like happy winter period, happy festive season.
Happy
There seems to be a...
Yeah, Americans have happy holidays because the Americans call everything happy
There seems to be
holidays.
a reluctance to say things like Happy Christmas. Now, I'm not saying let's have less Ramadan and Eid.
No.
What I am saying is let's have more of the Christian stuff as well, surely.
Well,
No, look, I don't disagree with you. And I think
Yeah,
these
that's totally fine. That's I don't think anyone would disagree with that.
large institutions, the BBC, some of the large corporations we've seen out today, you know, they are fearful. They are fearful of offending people who wouldn't be offended at all if a large institution came out and said, you know, we wish everyone happy Christmas. I go back to my earlier point. People of faith love living in a country that respects all faiths. And frankly, if we respect Christianity, as a Muslim person, if you live in Britain, that will make you say, good, they respect their established faith of Christianity in the UK. That means they will respect and protect my right to be a free Muslim in Britain.
That school last week, Norwood, the school that banned Easter, I looked at some of the emails from parents to that school, and there were emails from Hindus and Sikhs saying, what are you doing this for? We love it.
Absolutely.
They love the colourfulness of it. They love the fun of it. Their kids love... This was an...
No, it's white atheists who are the most embarrassed. Look, I think the message of politicians and public figures is make sure that your messages are appropriate. Yes, it's fine to thank people, but let's just tone down the need to tick every box every week of the year.
That's probably true. You can't please everyone, okay? You just gotta stick to like a way to be able to like do things. You can't possibly you can't please everyone. At the end of the day, it's just too much. You will forget and you will ignore some people. Like, it's too much, right? But one thing I would like to say is that, like, although Christianity was like the foundation of this country, and most people are Christians, right? But it's very weird because this is a secular country, right? Religious doctrines is not part of like the rules and like the structure of like the laws in this country. We don't decide laws based on Christian values anymore. It's kind of weird to keep saying it's a Christian country, because I still think it's a secular country. But hey, like, that's just my opinion. If you have any difference in opinions, you can put it down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, you can drop a like. It will be very, very much appreciated. And if you want to see more videos like this, you can subscribe, and we'll see you next time.